One of the things that I do when I read the Bible is I study the etymology of either Hebrew or Greek words, the two languages that the Bible was written in. I like to get, the etymology is getting to the root meaning of every word. And I study just about the meaning of every single word that I read in the Bible. I want to know the depth of it, the root of each word. So you guys, whether you might not have ever read the Bible before or anything like that, but there's a prophecy that people speak about today. People that talk about the New Testament, that Paul, who was a writer of many of the books of the New Testament, one of the things he wrote about was that there'd be a time where God sends a strong delusion to the earth. And people are going to be deceived by this strong delusion. Now there's two Greek words that are used that the American or English Bibles translate into strong delusion. The word for strong is just went blank for a second. Energia. You know, when you got somebody driving in front of you and they're hitting their brakes for no reason and you're like, what's going on? Maybe concentrate on the road. Okay, so energia is the Greek word for what our translators translate as strong. Energia is the English word energy. That's where we get the word energy from, energia. So I want you to remember energy. Energy is a source of what? Power, right? My car uses energy. But like my phone right now is charged into my, what they call a cigarette lighter, and I'm charging my phone as I'm driving. That's a form of energy transmitting into my phone, right? My car has energy running through it. So energy is also power, right? If you're not feeling energetic when you wake up in the morning, you're feeling a lack of power, right? Lack of energy, lack of power. So you got energia, and then you've got delusion. Delusion in Greek is the word plane. Plane. Plane is spelled Plane. It's where we get the English word plane. Look up into the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, right? It's where you get airplane, a plane. It's something that travels, right? Airplane. Now, plane in Greek doesn't mean airplane or anything like that, but that's where we get the English word plane, Plane, and it's spelled the same way in Greek, and it's pronounced plane. And what plane can also mean is a wandering or deception. Wandering, deception, delusion. Energia plane. In other words, let's just say energy plane. Now, when you look up into our skies and you see the regular airplanes look like crosses, right? Look like a cross, a plus sign flying around. But these things that you see spoken of in different like news sources or online, you know, you look up UFOs or whatever, you see that these crafts that are being filmed by people and reported by more than just conspiracy theorists, as some people believe that UFO, you believe in UFOs, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a conspiracy nut. Well, not so much anymore. Now that they're being seen on a regular basis and filmed on a regular basis and reported by pilots, by military officials and such, oh, well, now people are saying, oh, we've known all about it all. Oh, yeah, UFOs, they're around. People act like, oh, like they've known all along, right? Now that the truth is coming out. Now, I was telling you guys that have been following my channel since before 2023. Right before 2023 came, I told you that I got a word for this year. I prayed to God about it, about give me a theme for the year, something to keep as a theme to talk about for the year 2023, 2022, 2021, all those years I was doing that. And so far, God's been spot on through how he's been communicating it to me. So this year, I asked him a theme for this ministry, okay? For what I'm doing here on YouTube, and what theme does he want me to stick to. I'm not saying what other preachers, if they make themes, well, how can we all say the same thing? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he gave me a theme for what I'm doing here on Ultimate Mordecai, and the theme was the year of the great unveiling. A great unveiling. Great meaning that there'd be unveiling in multiple directions in life, multiple aspects of life. There'd be an unveiling of all sorts, right? Maybe there'll even be an unveiling of what these cryptid things are, such as Bigfoot or even Dogman, if you've ever heard of those things. Maybe there'll be a great unveiling about what these crafts are in the skies. But I guarantee you the great unveiling is not going to come from your news media or your politicians or your religious leaders, because most of all of them are involved in the deception as well, because they've been deceived. So what do? They pass on deception because they've been deceived and they're part of it. Some of them don't think they've been deceived. Some of them are very haughty and arrogant and narcissistic because they believe they know something you don't know. Right? Like they are the guardians of information, and they will decide what sort of information to feed you. And yeah, it's true. There are these so-called guardians of information, or even they might even say they're the guardians of truth. They might not say it to you, but they speak it amongst each other. That's why they got their secret societies and secret handshakes and secret gestures and secret colors that they use, and symbols and numbers and everything. They communicate in a different language than you and I communicate in. They speak in code. Hey, Jesus spoke in code too. He spoke in code for those that have ears to hear and eyes to see and ears to hear. He would speak in a way that was called parables. Parable is a comparison of something. But a lot of people didn't understand the parables. It was like us speaking in code today. But these people today that are the guardians of what they call truth, they speak in a code amongst each other, and they feel very above you because of this. Where Christ doesn't teach you to feel like you're above everybody, be a narcissist, you're better than everybody, you got me with you, you're so much better than them. He doesn't teach that. He teaches humility and love, patience, forgiveness, kindness, all that. So, I want to ask you something. What do you think's next? We have all kinds of cuckoo chaos that's been going on for a few years now. Some of us, because, with time, it just seems like it's one thing after another, after another, after another, and then things seem to calm down for a while until the next great event happens. And there's been so many great events ever since, well, I would say starting in 2016. I mean, there was a huge division. going on in America anyway, and I'd say even throughout the world, because America affects the rest of the world as well. Then 2019 comes around and, oh boy, more chaos. Not just with this thing that's, I don't even know what word to use for it anymore without getting shut down here on YouTube. But that thing that go around killing people, they're saying, and getting everybody terrified. This microscopic thing you can't see with their eyes, but it's out there. It's killing you. You better cover your face, and you better get the potion shot into you, and you better get multiple potions shot into you. And now what's next? Are these things that people are seeing in the skies that next? Is this strong delusion or this energy plane? Not a regular airplane, but we're talking about different types of crafts that, listen, energy, everybody's trying to figure out, how do these things move the way they do? How do they do the things they do? How do they seem to shapeshift? How do they do this? How do they do that? Right? There's something fishy going on right now, and I'm not going to pretend that I have the answers to all of it, but come on, you guys. Chinese spy balloon? Spy balloon? It's like a James Bond film. Let's give it as something. A Chinese spy balloon. A Chinese spy balloon. They finally shot it down, and now they're talking about they shot down all these things, multiple shoot downs of crafts in the air. What if that spy balloon is actually a satellite? What if satellites are actually connected to balloons, like the one that you saw on the news? Maybe they're a little unlike the pictures that were shown of satellites floating around there in outer space, what they call outer space, just floating around. Space junk, they're all over the place everywhere. Listen, I'm just saying, what if? What if we've been bamboozled, you guys? What if these guardians of truth, if you will, what if they're all laughing together because they fooled so many people? And now they're suddenly shooting down crafts all throughout the skies, different locations. Let me tell you something. These crafts, UFO, UAP, whatever you want to call it, if they're from an angelic realm, trust me, we don't have anything that's going to shoot them down. We don't have stuff that's going to take down any type of angelic design and we're going to defeat it. There's just no way. Their technology, listen, there was an angel in the Bible that slaughtered over 100,000 soldiers overnight. That's just one. That's a pretty powerful being. And these crafts that these beings move in, don't think of angel as the way you've been traditionally believing. There's a whole bunch of different types of angels. Just like on Earth, we got all different types of animals. You call them all animals, but there's a bunch of different types of them. Same with angels. There's all sorts of different angels. They look different. They have serve different purposes. Just like animals on Earth, they do different things. They're created for different purposes. The ant serves a different purpose than the bumblebee, right? They look different. But They're still what you might call insect. So angels look different. And perhaps they travel in different ways and have different means of travel. So what if these things are connected to fallen angels? Maybe, what if that's what it is? Instead of aliens, you know, these ETs, extraterrestrials, or aliens. Did you ever wonder why it's called extraterrestrial? What's an extraterrestrial? When I was a kid, they had a movie called E.T. E.T. stands for extraterrestrial. But what is extraterrestrial? What is that? Well, extra means more. Terrestrial comes from the word territory, terrain or territory, meaning land, extra land. Where's the extra land? Well, you know, people say, well, that's out in outer space, these different planets and such, Mars and all that. Really? That's what you're told. But what if the extra land is actually here? And what if Earth is just not even what you've been believing it is? What if we've all been duped by that great religion called scientism? Scientism. Right? I hope you know scientism is probably the largest religion there is on earth. And many people fall under the seduction of it all, the deception of it all. It is a great delusion. It is a great deception. Scientism is. It really is, right? And there's not just people that aren't believers in God believe in it. No, we're talking about even many believers. They've been fooled by scientism. They believe a whole bunch of stuff that the scientists preach. Now, I'm not saying anything against science. I'm talking about scientism. There's a difference. There's a difference, you guys. What if these things that we've been told are just a bunch of lies, bunch of deception, and they're laughing? These people that are higher up than you, that think they're greater than you, that think that you should be their slaves, like the Egyptians having power over the Israelites. Keep these dumb Israelites under our power, under our thumb. They'll do as we say. Right? I mean, you know what? There's a bunch of these higher up guys that just look at us as a bunch of pawns. And they've infiltrated the media, the politics, and they've infiltrated religion. They've got their hooks in everything, everywhere, right? But they are not the Almighty, although they want to believe they are. Now, if you're going along with the news and trusting that they're going to be a reliable source and keep you informed of what to do and how to be and where to go and what to believe, that's up to you. That's up to you. I don't know what that thing in the sky was, but when I looked at it, it sure did look like a satellite to me on a balloon. And that name, Chinese spy balloon, sounds so stupid to me personally. I don't know what it is, but you know, to me, it looked like a satellite. Now, what satellites do, the pictures they take, what they're doing, yeah, maybe it is used for spying. But it's just such a stupid name, stupid title, a spy balloon. Just stupid. Listen, I just want you to wonder are they really telling us the truth? Or do you just got a bunch of fools trying to predict something, what that is, and they don't even have a clue? They're just reading off notes that they've been told to read off of. What is the truth? I'm telling you, there is a truth. I believe the truth is in God's word. If you read it right, if you divide it right, if you know what you're looking for right. And I do believe that this is all part of something that's, I wish I could just make it more clear, you know, what's going to happen, but I really can't. But all I want to do is kind of just help you to wonder, like, what could be going on? What could it be? Is there possibly an explanation for why these things are appearing in the skies? Is there possibly an explanation that might be different than what the media has given you, what maybe even you're hearing from your churches, right? Maybe even from your family, your loved ones. Maybe they're speaking in a way that if you think or say anything differently than they say, they're going to make fun of you and think you're a conspiracy theorist. Listen, I was called a conspiracy theorist. I still am today. When I was Jehovah's Witness and I started seeing the truth about God's word, I started seeing things in the Bible that didn't make sense anymore because what the Bible was saying, it seemed to contradict what my religious leaders were teaching me. And once I started becoming vocal about it to a few people here and there, oh man, I got quickly, they wanted to shut me down. They wanted to do exactly what they're doing today. You speak any form of truth, they want to silence you because word is power. God spoke everything into existence. So words can carry weight. Words can be powerful. Words change the very atmosphere. And words, why do you think they want to silence people? Oh, we're just doing it for safety so that this stuff that people say won't harm them. You know, we're looking out for their best. No, they're not. No, they are not. All they're looking out for is to keep their lies going and for you to believe their lies. So let me just tell you, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9, the coming of the lawless one is by the activity of Satan with all power and false signs and wonders. Okay, let's just stop here. The coming of the lawless one is by the activity of Satan. The Greek word for activity is energeia. The same Greek word I used earlier, energeia, means energy or power. So the coming of the lawless one is by the energy or power of Satan with all power and false signs and wonders. Okay, now, so we have a different word for power here. It's in Luke 21:26. So it's not the Greek word energeia when it says with all power, because energeia can mean energy or it can also mean power. Luke 21:26. Jesus speaks these things. I'm going to start in verse 25 and then go to 26. He says, and there will be signs in sun and moon and stars, and on earth, distress of nations, in perplexity, which means anxiety or doubt. They're having anxiety and doubt. Why? Because of the roaring of the sea and the waves. That's pretty interesting. I wonder what's going to happen with the oceans there. Verse 26, people fainting with fear and with foreboding of what is coming on the world. Fainting is aposuko, apopsuko. It means to be apart or separate from your soul. Apart or separate from your soul. That's what fainting is. It says with fear and with foreboding of what is coming on the world. What's the word foreboding? It's the Greek word prosdokia. It means anticipation. So they're anticipating, they're scared, they're terrified, they're fainting, they're being separated from their soul. Why? Because of what is coming on the world. For the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Okay, so there we go. The powers of the heavens will be shaken. This Greek word for powers is dunamis. Dunamis is where we get the English word dynamite. Dunamis. This is powers of the heavens. Dunamis will be shaken. So it's not the same Greek word as energeia. So going back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9, the coming of the lawless one is by the activity of Satan. The activity is energeia with all power. Power is dunamis, okay? And false signs and wonders. Okay, so there's going to be this energy. There's going to be power. There's going to be things that you're like, what? How is this happening, right? And it says, with all wicked deception for those who are perishing because they refused to love the truth and so be saved. Therefore, God sends them a strong delusion so that they may believe what is false. God says, okay, you don't want truth? You don't want salvation, which is Yeshua in Hebrew. That's his son. That's his son's name, Yeshua, Jesus. They refuse to love the truth and so be saved. Jesus is Savior. He is salvation. So it's basically, we don't want Yeshua, and Yeshua is truth. You can't separate truth from Yeshua, but you have these guardians here on earth, guardians of truth, so they say, so they think, so they want you to believe. But when you fall for what they are telling you, you're in this delusion. And you're believing what is false. False is pseudos in Greek. Pseudos. That's where we get the word pseudo. It means an untruth or a lie. Untruth or lie. And once again, this strong delusion is energy or energia plane. Plane. That's how we get the word plane. And it translates into a wandering or a deceit, deception. But a strong delusion or energy plane, an energy plane, a different sort of craft, perhaps. I'm just giving you things to think about. What's next? I've kind of believed this for a while now, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. But it's starting to kind of make sense because I've been speaking about this for a while now, and now you're starting to see it more and more and hear it more and more, aren't you? Things being shot down out of the skies. Things, what is that? Well, it seems to be a Chinese spy balloon, but what are those other things? What are those things that are cylinder shaped or cubed shaped? What are these flying things that are cylinder shaped and they move and the military jets can't even catch up with them? What are these things? What are these tic-tac things? What are these things that are able to go into the ocean from the sky without even making a splash, and then come out of the ocean? What are these things? What are these crafts that can fly and go underwater? What are these things? Who's in them? You see, all I can say, you guys, is you got to put your trust somewhere. And there's going to be all sorts of different opinions, of course. There are different YouTube channels, people telling you what's going to happen, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. You know, I'm not trying to say anything, but I'm just saying this. Is it possible that the strong delusion is going to be tied into what you call UFO or UAP? When people are raptured away, carried away, snatched away, harpazo in Greek, to be with the Lord, caught away, if a whole bunch of people worldwide go missing and it's sudden, how is it going to be explained away? What are these higher ups that are here on earth? These ones that didn't want truth, they rejected Jesus. How are they going to explain things? Are they setting everyone up for an explanation that makes sense? Are people actually going to believe that there was a huge abduction that took place? And those that were abducted perhaps were the troublemakers on this earth. They were a threat to the earth. They were a threat to progress. You ever think about that? You might think I'm cuckoo crazy, and that's all right. Hey, maybe I am. I'm just trying to share, like, possibilities, things to think about, right? Maybe you're not interested in this kind of stuff, but what's going to happen when things start showing up more and more and more, and you're still in your own little world of, nah, it says fake, nah. What if these things, these beings, introduce themselves to mankind as maybe your brothers and sisters? Maybe they'll introduce themselves as your creators. Maybe they'll introduce themselves as people that they were once you and I, but they traveled through time. And they come back maybe looking a little bit different. Maybe they look a little similar to us. Maybe they look a little different. I'm sure there's going to be ones that look similar, look very different and all that. but they're going to be talking of peace. Do you know there's going to be a time where people are actually... So I was reading to you the book of Thessalonians, right? I told you Paul wrote about that strong delusion or that energy plane, energia plane. Those things move with a sort of energy that no one seems to explain. Nobody seems to figure out. There's all kinds of people that are interested in it. Look at Joe Rogan and his podcast. I mean, he's always interested in this stuff and interviewing people that talk about these things. A lot of people are interested, but a lot of people are totally fooled too. And they're gonna take the bait that these are our creators, or perhaps our brothers and sisters, or perhaps us from the future, right? Ancient aliens and such. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 2. Let's start in verse 1. Now, concerning the times and the seasons, brothers, you have no need to have anything written to you, for you yourselves are fully aware that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. So listen, he says you don't have to have anything written to you because you're fully aware. So if you are a true believer, you got Christ in you, you are fully aware that the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. While people are saying there is peace and security, so people are going to be saying there's peace, there's security at last. They're going to fall for something, and they're going to identify it as peace and security or safety. Safe and peace at last. We have brought it, and our brothers from the skies or our creators from the skies, whoever they identify, it's come. It's here. There is finally peace and safety. Maybe all those Christians, all those true believers that got taken away, they're out of here. Finally, we're peace at last. Got those troublemakers out of here. What happens though? While they are saying there's peace and security, then sudden destruction will come upon them as labor pains come upon a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. But you are not in darkness, brothers, for that day to surprise you like a thief. Why are we not in darkness? Because it says in verse 5, you are children of light, children of the day. We are not of the night or of the darkness. So then, let us not sleep as do others, or as others do, but let us keep awake and be sober. How do you like that? And we're not talking about be woke, because that's just like this false sense of peace and security, there's a false sense of being awake. People that say they're awake or woke, but they're actually sleeping. Now, this Greek word for keep awake is Gregorio. It's where we get the name Gregory, right? It means to stay alert and vigilant. Stay alert, be vigilant. And then he says also be sober. Sober is nepho. It means to be sober, abstain from being intoxicated, and being clear, having clear judgment, right? In other words, keep your mind on Christ and the truth, right? And don't let yourself be fooled by those that say they're speaking truth, but they're actually feeding you lies, right? Sober up, stay awake, be alert. Don't be caught off guard. You know it's coming. We all know something's coming. Maybe we don't know the details of it, but we know one thing. See, the world, they're going to put their trust in their money, their smarts, how much they've stored up, all their supplies. They're going to rely on government. They're going to rely on their politicians. They're going to rely on their guns, whatever stuff they have to protect themselves. But you and I, we know that as believers, we're called believers because we believe that Jesus is the way. He's the truth. He's the life. He's our protection. He's our safety. He's our answer. He's our hope. And he's the only way. And we put our trust in him, right? And he's going to get us through this. And just remember one thing. When Moses and the Israelites were almost like, it was like one thing after another. They were trapped in Egypt as slaves. Moses kept going to Pharaoh saying, let my people go. Pharaoh says, okay, they can finally get them out of here. And then he had changed his mind. Nope. And then finally, when they thought there was going to be freedom, nope, he changed his mind again. And it's over and over and over again. They think they're going to be free, then no, they're not. And that's what's going on in the world today. You think there's going to be hope. You think your favorite guy is going to finally come in and fix this place. He's going to get elected just to say, nope, didn't happen. Didn't happen, right? What are you going to do? It's almost like God lets you go to that place of where you just might get like to the point of complete hopelessness. You're ready to give up. You're tired of it. You're exhausted. You're just so fed up with it, the way everything's going. Just like I'm sure that the Israelites, every time they think they're going to get set free. And finally, when Pharaoh says, okay, this time go. And they go. And they're just about to cross through to safety. They come across the Red Sea. They're stuck now. They got a big sea. How are we going to cross this sea? We didn't bring boats with us. We weren't prepared for this. And then lo and behold, what's going on? Oh, Pharaoh and his armies changed their mind and they're coming and they're right there and they're about to catch up with the Israelites. Nowhere to go. You guys are trapped. You're ours. Right? They thought finally victory is here. Finally, we get to get rid of those bad guys, escape the bad guys, and here the bad guys are coming. And now Israel is trapped. You got the bad guys over here. You got the ocean in front of them. There's nowhere to go. What do? The Lord sends fire down and creates a division where Pharaoh and his armies can't cross through because there's this huge fire. Right? God does miraculous things. And then what? God has Moses raise his rod, which represents the cross of Jesus Christ. The victory comes through the cross. And what happens? They literally cross through the Red Sea. But even as they're crossing through and seeing this huge miracle, and it seems like victory at last, what happens? Pharaoh and his armies, they're crossing through they're crossing through too. Oh no, now what? You think the Israelites are like, oh man, here we think God's on our side. We're about to have victory. And here, now the Egyptians with Pharaoh, they're coming through here too. What is going on? Why are you allowing this, God? But when all the Israelites cross through, that is when God closes up the waters and Pharaoh and his armies engulfed. Victory at last. Right? You know, you might just be thinking the same thing as them. What is going on, God? I just can't take this anymore. When are you coming to get your children? When are you going to snatch us away? When are you going to get us out of this crazy place? So much is coming to this earth, Father. If it's not one thing, it's another. That's exactly it, you guys. If it's not one thing, it is another. And this isn't the time to fall to pieces, fall apart, or get duped by those that are in charge. Stay awake. Stay sober. Trust in Christ. Be close to him. He's close to you. You just got to get your mind there with him, right? He's your place of safety. He's your security. He is your peace. He's your Prince of Peace. He's mine too. That's our only hope. That's what I believe anyway. Anyway, I don't want to go too long. Thanks for watching. I hope this has blessed you. Something to think about. And, if you want to leave your comments, go ahead. Leave them and communicate with one another. And at that, I hope you all have a great one. And I'll see you all next time.